This Thanksgiving, someone will tell you to be grateful. They'll say it with good intentions, maybe even with love, and something in you will bristle. Because how do you practice gratitude when your childhood was hard? When the family gathering you're attending is complicated? When the people around the table couldn't give you what you needed? When your story includes loss, absence, emotional scarcity, or relationships that never became what you hoped? Traditional gratitude practices feel like erasure, like you're being asked to pretend everything was fine when it wasn't. Like acknowledging what's good means you have to deny what was hard. I'm Judi Bommarito, and this is a special Thanksgiving episode about a different kind of gratitude. Not the toxic positivity kind that demands you be thankful for your trauma, but the honest kind that can hold complexity. The kind that says, yes, this was hard, and I can still acknowledge what's real and true and worth recognizing. This isn't about being grateful for what hurt you. It's about being honest about both what wounded you and what you've built despite those wounds. Let's start with what we're not doing. We're not being grateful for your trauma. Your difficult childhood wasn't a blessing in disguise. Your parents' emotional unavailability wasn't meant to make you stronger. Your pain wasn't a gift that taught you important lessons. Pain is just pain. It doesn't need to be reframed as positive to be survivable. We're not pretending everything was fine. Gratitude doesn't require amnesia. You can acknowledge that things were hard, that you didn't get what you needed, that your relationships were inadequate or harmful. We're not forcing feelings you don't have. You don't have to feel grateful for people who hurt you. You don't have to manufacture warm feelings about difficult family members. You don't have to perform gratitude to make others comfortable. We're not bypassing your grief. Real gratitude can coexist with grief, anger, disappointment, and loss. It doesn't replace those feelings. It exists alongside them. This Thanksgiving, you have permission to feel whatever you actually feel. Gratitude isn't mandatory. And if you're not there yet, that's completely valid. But if you want to explore a kind of gratitude that doesn't require you to lie about your experience, stay with me. Here's the truth. You can hold multiple realities at once. You can acknowledge that your childhood was difficult and recognize that you survived it. You can grieve what you didn't receive and appreciate what you've built for yourself. You can wish your parent had been different and acknowledge moments when they tried, even if they failed. You can be angry about what was taken from you and feel satisfied with who you've become despite it. You can hate what happened and love what you've created from it. This is a contradiction. This is complexity. This is holding the full truth of your experience instead of flattening it into a simple narrative. The gratitude we're exploring isn't about the things that hurt you. It's about what you've done with that hurt. It's about recognizing your own capacity, your own resilience, your own ability to create something meaningful from difficult circumstances. You're not grateful for the trauma. You're acknowledging what exists despite the trauma. There's a difference, and that difference is everything. If you can't be grateful for what you were given, be grateful for what you've built. You built survival skills that helped you navigate impossible situations. You built emotional intelligence by learning to read rooms and people. You built strength by carrying more than a child should carry. You built resilience by enduring more than anyone should endure. You built the capacity to feel deeply because you know what it's like to be unfelt. You built boundaries because you learned what it costs to have none. You built compassion because you know what it feels like not to receive it. You built independence because you couldn't depend on others. You built creativity because you had to make something from nothing. These weren't gifts handed to you. These are capacities you forged from difficulty. And you can acknowledge them without being grateful for the difficulty that required them. This Thanksgiving, what if you recognized yourself? Not what they gave you, not what they did or didn't do, but what you created, what you built, what you became despite everything. That's worth acknowledging. Here's something worth genuine gratitude. You're breaking the cycle. You're not repeating the patterns that hurt you. You're not passing the wounds forward. You're doing the hard work of healing so that the people who come after you, your children, your friends, the people you love, don't have to carry what you carried. You're the generation that said, "This ends with me." This takes extraordinary courage. That deserves recognition. You're learning to set boundaries when you were taught boundaries were selfish. You're learning to use your voice when you were taught to stay silent. You're learning to feel your feelings when you were taught to suppress them. You're learning to ask for what you need when you were taught your needs didn't matter. You're learning to take up space when you were taught to stay small. This isn't easy work. This is revolutionary work, and you're doing it. Not perfectly, not without setbacks, not without days when you fall back into old patterns, but you're doing it. And that commitment to breaking the cycle, that determination to create something different, that willingness to do the hard work of healing, that's worth acknowledging this Thanksgiving. When your family of origin couldn't provide what you needed, you probably found it elsewhere. And those unexpected sources of support, connection, and love deserve recognition. Maybe it's the friend who became family, the chosen family that shows up more consistently than blood relatives ever did. Maybe it's the therapist who finally helped you understand you weren't crazy, you were coping. Maybe it's the partner who loves you gently and doesn't require you to be perfect. Maybe it's the community you found, online or in person, where people understand without you having to explain. Maybe it's the teacher, mentor, or stranger who saw something in you that your own family didn't see. Maybe it's the creative practice that gave you a way to process what you couldn't speak. Maybe it's the pet who offers uncomplicated love. Maybe it's yourself, the part of you that refused to give up, even when giving up would have been easier. These sources of real support, real connection, real love, they count, they matter, and they're worth genuine gratitude. This Thanksgiving, you can acknowledge the people who actually showed up, the relationships that actually nourish you, the connections that actually feel safe. You don't have to force gratitude for difficult family relationships. You can genuinely be grateful for relationships that work. Gratitude doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes the most honest gratitude is for the smallest truths. I'm grateful I made it through that day. I'm grateful I can feel this feeling instead of numbing it. I'm grateful I said no when I needed to. I'm grateful I cried when I needed to cry. I'm grateful I'm learning to trust myself. I'm grateful my body kept me alive when my mind wanted to give up. I'm grateful I found one person who understands. I'm grateful I can sit with silence now without it terrifying me. I'm grateful I'm not who I was 5 years ago. I'm grateful I kept going. These aren't Instagram-worthy gratitude declarations. They're the honest, quiet acknowledgments of survival and growth that actually matter. This Thanksgiving, you don't need to perform big, showy gratitude. You can practice small, true gratitude for the real things that got you here. If you're attending a Thanksgiving gathering with people who hurt you, who don't understand you, or who make everything harder, you need a strategy that isn't just be grateful. Here's what you can do instead. Before you go, set a time limit. Decide when you're leaving before you arrive. Identify your exit strategy. Have a reason to leave early if you need it. Lower your expectations. They probably won't be different this year. Remember why you're going. Obligation, connection with specific people, tradition, and let that be enough. While you're there, notice one true thing you can acknowledge without lying. Maybe it's the food, maybe it's one genuine moment of connection, maybe it's just that you're surviving it. Practice internal gratitude for your boundaries. Every time you don't engage with dysfunction, feel grateful for your growth. Find moments to step outside, breathe, check in with yourself. Text a friend who understands. You don't have to do this alone. After you leave, acknowledge yourself for going if it was hard. Release any guilt about leaving when you needed to. Practice gratitude for your own home, your own space, your own peace. You can be grateful you went and be grateful you left. You can be grateful for the attempt and grateful it's over. Both are true. This Thanksgiving, you're allowed to be grateful for your boundaries, even if others don't like them. Your growth, even if no one in your family notices it. Your healing, even if it's imperfect and ongoing. Your chosen family, even if it makes your biological family uncomfortable. Your decision to leave early, to say no, to protect yourself. The distance you've created, if distance is what you needed. The relationships you've built that actually feel safe. The person you're becoming, even if it's different from who they wanted you to be. Your story, even the hard parts, because it's yours and it's true. Your survival, your resilience, your refusal to give up. You don't owe anyone gratitude for what hurt you, but you can claim gratitude for what you've done with that hurt, for who you've become, for what you've built. That's real. That's honest. That's worth celebrating this Thanksgiving. This Thanksgiving, you don't have to pretend everything was fine. You don't have to force feelings you don't have. You don't have to be grateful for people who hurt you or circumstances that wounded you. But you can hold complexity. You can acknowledge that things were hard and recognize what you've built anyway. You can grieve what you didn't receive and appreciate what you've created for yourself. You can practice a gratitude that doesn't erase the truth, a gratitude that holds both and, instead of forcing either or. What are you grateful for that doesn't require you to lie about your experience? What have you built that deserves acknowledgement? Share in the comments one, both, and statement. This was hard, and I built. This week, hold what was hard. Acknowledge what's real. Let yourself recognize your own capacity without minimizing the difficulty it took to build it. You survived what you survived. You built what you built. You're still here, still growing, still healing, still becoming. That's worth acknowledging. That's genuine gratitude. That's the truth. Happy Thanksgiving. May you hold the complexity with grace. May you recognize yourself with honesty. May you find moments of real connection with people who actually see you. You don't have to be grateful for everything, but you can be grateful for something true. And that's enough. Take good care.